Hello guys, welcome to my channel. We have some new information regarding Xuan, hopefully pronounced the name correctly, and also we have some other extra information on top regarding 2.0 patch that I'll talk about within this video. But first I want to give you a quick disclaimer that if you're not a meta puller or something like that, I wouldn't stress about this. However, if you care about power and meta, Xuan looks like it's going to be a very strong character. She is of course an anniversary unit. Anniversary units in Hoyo games are generally very strong and are generally also promoted throughout the year. But what makes Xuan special is, unlike Miyabi, which has the frost element, Xuan has a new specialty. So you might be confused, what is the specialty? So anomaly, attack, support, and so on. So it seems zenlesszonezeroguide is adding a new specialty. I'm personally not sure what this new specialty is going to end up being. For example, in Honkai Star Rail, we got a new path, Remembrance, this year, which is effectively around Memo Sprites having a summon creature. So I'm not sure if this new specialty will have some new type of gimmick or not at all. Because I'm very curious, like, what kind of a new specialty we would get. Because when they have like an attack, anomaly, defensive unit, a support, maybe a healer role, perhaps? I don't know. Like, perhaps maybe they want to push a healer role or something. I don't know. I don't think that would be the case, but it's something that comes up on top of my head. It might be something completely new just as anomaly, but it's very safe to assume that this new specialty will be heavily promoted throughout the endgame content for the rest of the year. Also, Xuan is an Ether element agent, subject to change. So we'll also get nice Ether coverage. That's why I would not really recommend going for Zuyuan rerun right now, because Xuan might end up being straight up just much stronger than Zuyuan. But of course, if you like Zuyuan, you can go for her, Smile. Vivian, I believe it's still a good pickup. However, we're not sure whether Vivian is gonna end up working well with Xuan. I also would not be surprised if Xuan is gonna have like a very strong signature V engine, because generally in Hoyover's games, anniversary units do get a strong weapon, but you never know. There could be a new precedent with this game. Also, we do have some information about Yu Fufu. She is an S-rank agent. Initially, we thought she's going to be an A-rank agent, but she seems to be an S-rank right now. Also, she's stun fire. So will this overlap with lighter? What's going to be Yu Fufu gimmick? We don't know. And perhaps Yu Fufu might end up being a good alternative for Evelyn as well. Personally, I think 2.0 lineup is probably going to be very stacked, especially with the anniversary unit. And speaking of 2.0 stuff, we have further information about it. But before that, I would like to let you know that a lot of you guys who watch me are not subscribed. If you'd like to support this small channel, feel free to subscribe, smile. So let's go over this post from New Eridu Newsstand. Do note there might be some spoilery things within this post. So if you don't want to get potentially spoiled about certain things, just feel free to skip this part. And also as a reminder, big reminder once again, this is heavily subject to change. Of course, whenever the beta actually starts, we'll have a clear picture of what's exactly going to happen, but it's still worthwhile to look into this and be excited about some of this stuff, because personally, some of the features that at least I see within this post are very good. So now let's take a look at the picture. The things already talked about, I will just go quickly over. Issue 1, new specialty Ether attribute, Tachibana. This seems to be a new character. I don't think this is Fufu. As for the question mark and old, I guess this means one of the old 5 specialties, not the new one, and fire attribute. Also, the proxies looks like they will be playable as I originally expected in my previous video. This is of course heavily subject to change, but do remember that in the Chinese video of the dev talk, they had some additional context and they kind of heavily implied there that proxies might be playable, but take this with a massive grain of salt nevertheless. Also here it says that combat using proxy, Lin / Akira, this is the Japanese names of the proxies compared to Bell and Weiss, will be unlocked. So this would be probably like free MCs like you have in HSR or Genshin Impact. 3D map implementation added. We do have some additional context regarding this 3D map implementation. So basically in the new area map system, in the center of the screen you can see a 3D thumbnail of your selected area. You can zoom in and out of it and click on the location you want to go, and then it will be transported there. There is a list of areas to quickly select. And I believe this is a good feature because sliding left and right as it was before with the map was very tedious as they kept adding new areas. They also are going to add new operation technique evaluation feature. I'm not sure exactly what this would imply. Perhaps like a trial or something like that to test out your characters. Do let me know in the comments down below if you have a better idea what this could be. VR equipment experience available. So I guess more VR content, perhaps like tower or something like that. Hopefully that is the case. Reduced warp count. So a lot of people initially thought that this means they will be giving you less pulls per patch, but I don't think this is the case. What I would personally understand from this wording, at least from this post, that the amount of pulls required to reach PT on a banner is going to be reduced. I do not know if this is going to be for the weapon banner or for the character banners, but if this actually ends up being true, I would say this is a very much needed and massive change, and this would help a lot with this game so we can acquire more units potentially down the line. So it's very good stuff if this ends up happening. There's also going to be a bomb PvP mode added. Perhaps this is something to do with Bang Boo mini games and it has like a PvP. There's also going to be 4 new costumes, so skins. We're getting more skins into the game. I assume some of these skins might end up being for free. There's also going to be a completely new map style. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Could either be like the map of how you look through the places, or they mean like map as areas, they're completely different structure, I don't know, like larger areas or something. We'll have to wait a bit for more information on this one so we have a better idea. First anniversary login rewards, total amount of X pools distributed, so there is of course going to be anniversary login rewards. HSR has this as well. They're also going to further evolve on HDD. Some people were speculating that HDD systems were being removed, but looks like they're gonna go more into this. This is effectively the place where you start your stories and stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. So perhaps they wanna optimize this or provide a more smoother, better experience, and that would be very nice. Driver disk optimization, so more quality of life feature, which is also cool. And one of the big things that I'm a big fan of is UI optimization. I'm very happy to see they're willing to further optimize / fix UI, because right now, if you ask me, the UI is kinda a mess, and it's many times hard to keep track of things, and it's very nice to see they're willing to do this, assuming this ends up happening, of course. Loading black screens removed, so now loading is gonna be more smooth. I guess how they would tackle loading screens, at least the black screens to be removed, probably something similar to Honkai Star Rail and Furious. When you move from area to area, you have like a door that takes a while to open. The longer it takes for you to load, the longer you'll have to wait for the door to open. And of course, we're also going to have main story season 2 with, I believe, Angels of Delusions and more of Obol Squad as well, which is something I already speculated to be happening in season 2 as well. So overall, with all of this information, I think 2.0 can end up being a very good patch. But of course, we have to wait and see the actual features in the game, because these are all pre-release information, heavily subject to change. But I do personally hope that these features end up being in the live version of the game, because it will take the game in a good direction, especially the UI optimization, the reduced warp count, and many more other features. So yeah, I guess this is it for this video. If you have any questions or like to add anything yourself, feel free to write it within the comments down below. And of course, if you like this video, feel free to give it a like, smile. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video. Ciao!